Welcome to Chill Not Found. Today, Danker and Wheeze return. We start with just a whisper of small talk before diving headfirst into a saga of digital rise and tragic collapse. The game, MultiVersus, a fighting game with promise, but a future fumbled. We discuss how player-first games took a golden opportunity and let it slip, and how Warner Brothers is pulling the plug for good. But wait, there's more. In this week's Storytime segment, Wheeze hits up a barcade, gets absolutely wrecked, then stumbles her way into a CC's Pizza, only to heroically trip over the curb like a true gladiator of the night. So sit back, take a sip of something dramatic, and enjoy the beautiful chaos that is Chill Not Found.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chill Not Found. I am your host, Danker, and I'm also here with Wheeze.
Hello, I'm Wheeze.
And today, we are going to welcome you to another episode of Chill Not Found. So today, Wheeze is going to be hosting the topic and hosting this episode. So Wheeze, take it away.
So, video games.
Oh?
Yeah, gotta love them, right?
Obviously, they're fun.
Yeah, they're plenty of fun. Most of them are fun. Some of them are just kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
Why? Like, we've definitely played a few, like we've tried out a few, like, free games just to see what it's about, and it's just like, what is happening here?
Well, that's why they're free.
Yeah, they're free for a reason. Usually so they can just, like, start getting stuff out there, but sometimes it's just like, what is this? I'm so confused.
Yeah, of course.
But, let's get into the today's topic.
Okay, what is today's topic? That was the smallest short talk ever.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, we said no longer than 15 minutes. We didn't say that it had to be the whole 15 minutes, did we?
No, we didn't.
Today's topic, the rise of MultiVersus. Yay! Make sure you add that sound effect there.
Okay, editor, add that sound.
Yeah, editor, add that sound and remove us talking about adding that sound.
No, keep that in there.
No. So, MultiVersus was a really interesting game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was really fascinating to see a collaboration with a bunch of different crossovers from Warner Brothers, because they brought in a lot of franchises: DC, Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, Game of Thrones, Cartoon Network, all that fun stuff. A bunch of interesting characters with rather unique, what's the word I'm looking for here? Playsets? Skill sets? Attacks?
Skill sets, most likely.
Most likely is the word I'm looking for. And they had it available on a bunch of different platforms too, which was really nice. But, they started that project back in 2022, and it got a lot of positive feedback and a good kickoff to it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, what'd you think of MultiVersus back then?
So I saw Multiverse as this little baby entity, and I was like, oh, well, you look at that. And so I looked into Multiverse, and I saw there's a small but strong community, and they were very, very outspoken. And so I own an esports organization, so I kind of decided to invest into that small community as much as possible, and we got our name out there for a long time. One thing led to another, and you know how it is.
Yeah. You really said, look at the little baby.
Yeah, so it was brand new to the scene, and I was just like, I was focusing on other tournaments and other, events, and I was
yeah. It managed to win Best Fighting Game for the Game Awards for 2022.
Well, to be fair, there was not much competition in 2022. Now, if they tried that in 2024, they would have absolutely not.
Oh, they would have gotten steamrolled.
Yeah.
It was nominated for best multiplayer game too.
Nominated, didn't win.
Nominated, yeah, no, it didn't win that because there was a lot of other multiplayer games that came out that year.
Yeah, so I'm like, anybody could be nominated, but if you don't win, was it even something to brag about? I would say no.
Yeah. I do know that like people started like falling. It started falling off back in 2023.
Yeah,
because people started just kind of like dropping the game because it wasn't getting enough updates. It was missing features.
yeah.
And oh boy, wasn't money hungry.
Yes, it was very greedy, and Steam reported an average of 1,300 daily players were leaving the game, which is, that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're a small game already, it adds up very quickly. That daily, imagine if you had $1,300 leaving your account a day, it adds up, and you will start panicking.
That would make me cry so hard.
I would
like if
panic.
I had enough money in my account to lose 1,300 a day, I would just weep constantly.
Yeah, so
I'd be like, "But where is it going?"
yeah. So I'm like, with that many issues, and plus they had a lot of negative community feedback with everything they were doing with the locking a lot of characters behind a paywall and stuff like that, and not giving it an option to earn that character, really made a lot of people annoyed, because
it rubbed people the wrong way.
Honestly, if you're going to have a game, you should make it where everybody has the character the same way on earning the character, not putting it where you could get the character faster by paying money. Now, cosmetics, like outfits for the character, I get that. You need to make money for your game. Your game is free. I get that. Battle Pass, I get it. But you should not put a character exclusive behind a paywall to make an unfair advantage for people that don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was just a pretty bad move, but it's a common move they make.
It's a very common move amongst free games. You'll see it all the time on mobile games, on free computer games, free games that you can get on console. A lot of them have a lot of pay to win stuff, or just stuff that's just like, why would I need to buy that? Why isn't that just available? Why isn't that just part of the game? And
like, reality is like, if you don't make it where you can earn it and everybody else has to earn it, it becomes just unbalanced, and that's where the community starts arguing.
Yeah,
which is a big problem.
Now, MultiVersus, the Player First Games, that's the company that they had, right?
Yes, Player First.
Player First Games did try to relaunch MultiVersus. They launched it on the newer engine. They added new characters, tried adding a different mode.
Yeah, so they went from Unreal Engine 4 on the open beta, and then they moved it for the full relaunch on the Unreal Engine 5 for the full release on PlayStation, Xbox, Xbox Series X, and Windows PC. Game was free to play on all platforms.
But like, despite relaunching it, it didn't hit like it did for the open beta.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of things that just got cut in the final production and were either delayed or just straight up gone.
Yeah, and then a lot of features that should have been ready in the final release of the game was not ready. Like, one thing that impacted us tournament operators was the spectator mode for the tournaments, and basically we're going to have spectators in the game because that functionality was not ready when it relaunched. Yeah,
it made things a lot harder for it to continue gaining traction. If they had that ready at the final launch, I'm almost positive that it would have managed to do a lot better.
I'm not so sure about that, mainly for the fact that they did not do good on damage control. And the damage control, honestly, was the biggest issue of, like, they let too much of their community have too much power. See, when you run a game, you want to hear your community, but you also going to make decisions, and you got to stand by your decision if your community likes it or not. And there are certain decisions that you have to stand by if it is the proper decision you have to make for the game to succeed. You're going to have people that are going to leave. You're going to have people that come. But when you look at the final numbers, you always got to make sure is, did this decision lose more players or gain more players? And that's how you calculate. Because if you lost, let's just say 5,000 players because you changed something, but you gain 30,000, you're only at a net loss of 5,000. So it's better to make those type of decisions.
Definitely, in that case, it would be a profitable move, I guess.
Yeah, it's just more on the line of like, you have to make certain sacrifices. Now, I'm not saying completely ignore the community. You want to listen to a certain point, but you don't want your community to run and dictate how your game works.
Yeah. Speaking of profitable, Warner Brothers was actually the one who decided to put the cap on MultiVersus because it was underperforming for their likeness, and they said it contributed to like $100 million in losses for their games division.
Yeah, and the Warner Brothers, they've lost over 100 million in their game division because a lot of people just didn't have much faith, and a lot of people were basically, everything was pushing, and it was just more loss than profit because they were getting too money hungry at the end. And yes, they try to sell everything. Like if you go into MultiVerse and if you look at the store, every single thing besides one little thing costs a lot of money. And see,
real money.
Yeah. And if I can't earn those type of rubies they had in the game by playing the game, then it's not going to be a game I want to play because it's just not worth it for me. And plus they had a lot of lag, server latency, a lot of issues, things they say they fixed but they really didn't fix, features that they were going to add but didn't add, and just a lot of empty promises, which honestly made the game really fall.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of hopes for this game. I was really excited when it came back. And when they added Raven, I was like, oh yeah, let's go. But when I played with Raven, it was like the whole hitboxes, how the fighting and everything worked. It wasn't fun.
Yeah, the hitboxes were kind of bad.
And so I left the game.
I know.
And I actually enjoyed the game when it originally came out. I was playing Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed using that character. I really enjoyed the game, but I felt like it just really lost its community.
Yeah. I mean, I tried it out once, I believe, and I couldn't understand how, it's just like, yes, this character just kicked the air about 12 feet that way and it hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to play a game with hitboxes that busted.
But overall, I'm like, it could have been a good game.
Oh, absolutely. It had a lot of potential.
They just threw so much away.
Yeah. Like, it had a fascinating concept, crossovers with all these different characters for different rosters and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
It makes for a good grab of attention. Like, hey, have you ever wanted to see what happens when, like, Finn from Adventure Time tries to fist fight Wonder Woman? Well, now you can see for yourself, kind of feel stuff.
Kind of.
It funny to see that.
It's more on the line of just the unique twist they put on characters and how they presented them. But the main killer of the game was just how the hitboxes and everything turned out to be, and how just the whole game and how they structured, free to play but cost an arm or leg to continue to play. That was the main issue of the game. It wasn't even the characters, it wasn't even the fact that you could pin different characters against each other, because almost every fighting game has that. It's more of the fact that how you structure a game, how a game looks, and how you deliver the final product is what really captured the game.
Yeah.
In the beginning, looked fantastic, but when they said final release, this is the full game, there was not much difference from the beta.
Yeah, and it's on its last little spiel now. It's going to be shut down in May.
Yes.
Right?
It'll be shut down in May 30th.
Yeah, May 30th of this year, 2025.
Yep.
And when it gets shut down, it's going to be removed from all the storefronts, and you won't be able to play cross-play online anymore or anything like that, and you'd only be able to play at home by yourself, or I'm assuming it would still allow local co-op.
Yeah, a lot of local co-op, but that's every game with no active servers.
Yeah. But, what do you think people can learn from MultiVersus?
Stop being money hungry.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, yeah, sure, cosmetics, sure.
If you're going to basically make a game to get money, well, don't get me wrong, you need money to make better games and develop studios and do stuff like that. But execution is important on how you make your money, because you don't want to only make it where the rich succeed and the poor doesn't. That's in game, that's in life, that's everywhere. When you want to make a perfect community, you got to make it where everybody has a good fighting chance, as long as they put in the time.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel the game. That's how I view them, how everything turned out.
It's just it could have been very, very good.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it's because it had like a big name backing it, but I know that big names really like money.
Well, of course, big names really like money, but at the same time, does it really make that much of a difference if you can't execute the main game?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that's the rise of multiverse and the fall of multiverse. And will we see another game like it? Most likely. But hopefully, they learn from this mistake they made and don't do it.
Yeah. Oh, and that's our topic for the day.
Nice.
Yay! Again, editor. Throw that sound effect in there.
All right. And it's time for story time with Weez.
Storytime! Yay! Okay, so I don't have any story prepared, but we're just gonna roll with it.
You had
So
a
today-
whole week.
Yeah, and? Your point?
You had a whole week.
Let's see. What can I talk about? Let's talk about so I'm going to tell you about an arcade that existed in my hometown.
Okay.
It still exists. But, original location got shut down. They opened up in a better location. Very good, right?
All right.
So, this place was a arcade,
Yes.
obviously, but it was also a bar.
Well, okay.
So you'd pay an entrance fee to get in. They give you a little wristband that said if you were of age to drink or if you weren't.
Uh-huh.
So I went in there with a group of my friends.
Yeah.
We were having a grand old time. I went and got me a they called it what was it? It was video game themed, obviously. It was something Mario. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was essentially like grenadine whiskey and then like cherry syrup.
Mm-hmm. A Mario shot.
Really good. Yeah, something like that, but it wasn't a shot, it was a full drink.
Oh.
But it was delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got me one of those and we were walking around in the basement level of it, playing games, and I went and got my second drink and I was about halfway through it and I set it down so we could play Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
And then I knocked it over, and I was like, ah. But we played Guitar Hero for like a good solid half hour. I went and got another, like I brought it back up. I was like, I spilled it, and they gave me a towel, and I went and mopped it up, and they're like, here's another one. I'm like, okay, let me pull out my money, and they're like, no, drink it. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll take a free full drink. They made that one extra strong.
I think they basically did it because they probably just, since you cleaned up your own mess, they're like, hey, fair is fair.
Hey, I have no problem cleaning up my own mess. The floor was sticky enough as it was. I didn't need to make it more sticky.
Okay.
But they had a lot of really cool games down there. They even had like the original Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's always fun.
Like it's a good arcade. I should take you there sometime.
That's pretty far away.
It is pretty far away, but like if we're ever traveling, we do have plans to travel in the not too terribly distant future.
Yeah, but you know, we also have one like an hour away instead of 4 hours away.
But it's not the same.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll go and I'll try it out, and in our future podcast, I will make a story time on my experience with it.
Bet. But honestly, fantastic place. Had a lot of fun there. Had a lot of fun with my friends. We played a bunch of Guitar Hero, played a bunch of different games. There's like obviously a basketball shooting game. I'm terrible at it. Danker can confirm that I'm terrible at it because he's seen me play basketball games like that.
Yes.
But after that, we went to a CC's Pizza.
Oh, I'm so surprised.
Right? So I'm drunk. Half of my friends are drunk. There's like 2 people who aren't, because we were just like, no, one of you 2 has to drive. But we went there, we ate a bunch of pizza. One of them wanted to do one of those little VR roller coaster games that they have in the CC's, but they didn't want to do it alone. So I went with them, and I was like, wow, I feel horrendous now. Because I get motion sick in cars. So mix that with greasy food and alcohol, I was not feeling it.
Oh no.
But yeah, I on our way out, I fell over.
Well,
Same CC's Pizza I had been going to for my entire life, mind you, and I forgot about the curb.
that seemed about right.
Yeah. But overall, it was just a really good time, and it was
Was it your first time consuming alcohol? Like,
it was my first time consuming that much alcohol in public.
In public. Keywords.
Yeah, it was. That was actually a goodbye party.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the last time I hung out with them before I left town.
Oh, farewell. You skipped town.
Yeah. And then I moved out to Yee Nowhere, and then I moved out to less Yee Nowhere, and now I have a Danker.
You know, we'll explain how we met someday in the future. That'll be our 50th episode. Our
50th episode topic will be how Danker and Wheeze met.
But very interesting then. So basically you just went out, got sloshed, went and got pizza, and fell.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Also got my butt absolutely kicked in several different arcade games. Because the nice thing about those arcade games at the arcade that I want to take you to,
Yeah.
they're free.
Oh.
Yeah, you
That's
pay
a
for
rarity.
entry, you pay for drink. That's it. The games, you can play them as much as you want. You can stay there as long as you want.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, a lot of
Do you
places.
see why I want to take you there?
I'm like, well, you got to make sure it's still there.
Of course, it's still there. It's popular. It's right on the like central part of town. We walked right by it
Okay.
when we were up there.
Okay.
Remember, I pointed out to you, and I was like, I like that place.
You said that to like 30 different places.
I don't have a response to that, so just pretend I said something witty.
Fair enough.
Yeah, how'd you like my witty response?
Oh, it was so great. But with that said, is that is that your story?
That is my story. You have anything you'd like to add onto my story?
Not really.
Wow. Okay.
Well, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and really appreciate each and every single one of you guys for the support, and we'll see you guys next time on Chilled Not Found. Farewell.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.